Silverback Talks. I'm Alan Vaughn, and with me today is Bradley Doby. Welcome, Bradley.
Hey,
And I refer to him as Doby a lot, so that's probably what you're going to hear me call him. So, Doby is with Team Savage and Savage House Gym out of Denton, North Carolina. Um, I had the luxury of really meeting Doby. I guess it was Camel City last year, correct? I think is where we met. We pulled the first time there. You beat me in the tournament. Uh, right hand or left hand? I can't remember.
left hand.
Left hand. And then we had um, a match at Rick Layton's practice later, a couple months later, and you got me 3-0 there, right hand. Um, and then we in the 198 round robin, you beat me there as well, right hand. So for those of you that don't know, you probably already know Bradley Doby is my kryptonite. I say it all the time. I could be 101. My one is to him. He could be 1 in 100. I'm his one. So it doesn't matter. I just have nothing for his hand. But once again, welcome, Doby. Happy to have you, bud. I guess the first thing I always want to start off talking about is family. I know family is important. You as family, it's important to most of us in our community. Just tell us a little bit about your family.
Right now, my family's busy as they can be with soccer and the gym and all kinds of stuff going on with arm wrestling. So we're just wide open.
Yeah, you're coaching soccer now. I was surprised when you told me that the other night when you said you had soccer practice. I can't see you coaching soccer.
My kid plays, and I'm addicted to sports, so I'm going to be in there.
You're going to coach the competitiveness for whatever sport.
Whatever it is. It could be
Chess
swimming. I'm going to be in there.
Beat that ass on that chess table. So how many kids do you have?
One.
Just one. And how old did you tell me he was?
He's 7.
Seven. All right. And it was nice seeing Brandy, your wife, pull at Conquest this past weekend.
Yeah, I think she's hooked.
Nice. That's awesome to see they all share that too, a common interest. It was really cool to get to talk to her some too while you were pulling. I had a good time meeting her.
Oh yeah,
I know we've met before, but really getting to talk to her a little more.
She's super competitive, so I figured if she'd ever really get into it and do it one time, she'd be hooked. And now she's like, I got to get to practice. So
it's addictive, dude. And I don't know what it is. You know, if you would have asked me 15 years ago, like, I mean, I thought arm wrestling was cool, but I never would have thought it'd draw me in like this. You know,
right.
The whole sport, not just getting on the table and competing. It's like watching it and talking.
I got started the dumbest way. A guy came up to me at the gym. I was strict curling. He was like, "Have you ever seen a Devin Larrett video?" And I was like, "Yeah." He said, "I think you should do that." So I got to looking around and I found a super match, and I went and watched a bunch of people at a super match, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'm doing it."
You found one down your way? It was just one.
I went to one where Ted and a couple other people were pulling a bunch of super matches.
Nice.
And when I went down there, I got to talking to everybody, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to do this."
Now, Camel City was your last year of 23. Was that was your first event, right?
Yeah, it's the first time ever at the table.
I thought so. I thought you told me that. Yeah. So we started. You started 23. I was summer 22, something like that. Yes, I'm coming up on 2 years. So you're just coming up on a little over right at a year, really.
Yeah.
Nice.
I've just worked the nerves off, I feel like.
Yeah, hell yeah. No, you've been killing it for first year. I really didn't realize it was still just your first year. Get into it until we just started talking about this. That's impressive, dude. Seriously. Recent events, I know I touched base on it earlier, was the 198 round robin. You play with your weight so crazy. You know, when we started, I can't remember. Did you have to cut down to 198, or was you good and was able to just maintain? I can't remember where you were.
No, I was 221 pounds when I started the cut.
But you can be at 185 in 3 weeks.
I did cut 20 pounds or 20 and a half pounds in like 10 or 12 days.
Okay, nice. How about the 198 round robin? What a hell of an event, man! I could not have been more pleased.
It was a good event. I feel like it was a really well done event. It had a lot of people that were really close. A lot of those matches go different every day you run them.
Yeah, I agree.
But I got tore up in the second round and was pretty much toast from there.
We met first round. We had very first round. You and I did.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, the 198 round robin I'm referring to is a Road to the Pros 198 round robin. What it was 12 of us. Most of us had experience with one another somewhat. We'd at least touch each other's hand where it was a practice or a match. But most of us was North Carolina, Virginia, a couple of a couple out of West Virginia, South Carolina. We had Townsend come up from South Carolina. Um, but it was 12 of us as an absolute great event. Chris Wood ended up ultimately winning it. Um, Ethan Green was a very close second. I'd love to see them two early in the tournament, not the last. I think they pulled the last round or right near it, one of the last rounds.
I would
But
like to see that match run back.
and they're very different. That's just it. That's Wood's hand versus Ethan's inside game.
Well, see, the thing about it is with Woods, he's extremely tricky. So you kind of got to be preemptively thinking he might go here,
Yeah,
and it's one of those games with him to where I'm kind of the same way. So I'm just like it's always like rock paper scissors. Sometimes you win one, sometimes you lose one. You know.
and that was my first time pulling Ethan, but I had seen him, which was made me invite him to the 198. But I'd seen him. I just didn't know he had that endurance level in him. I knew he had a killer press, killer inside game. I mean, when he would get in that Kings move and just hold out and wear them boys out and wait them out and come back on them.
His hand is like impossible to open. If you're going to go through it, you either got to go through it early, or you're just going to have to sit there and wear him out. And if you're going to sit there and wear him out, you better be strong.
And now he is pulling in May. He's coming to the 176 round robin in May. He's pulling Nathan Middlebrooks in May. They hadn't decided on a weight. Ethan, I don't think cares, but Nathan only walks around at like 204. So
I think Ethan's like 185, 190.
I'm sure they'll probably just do a catch weight or something. Neither one. Knowing both of them, they're gamers. They don't care.
Yeah, Ethan really doesn't carry anything under 200 pounds, I think.
Now, one thing you're known for, Doby, is pulling your weight class and everything up, especially left hand. And I think you did that at Camel City, right? When you went to Camel City, this recent Camel City.
Yeah.
And how'd you finish? Didn't you do well left? Right? Super. Did you win?
I think
Super heavyweight left?
I won one or two matches left hand and one match right hand super heavyweight.
I thought so. Yeah. I thought you did well super heavyweight, and then Conquest you pulled up all left hand 220 up.
I got beat up at Conquest.
Yeah, I pulled 220 up on right hands.
I walked in the room and was like, "Man, I might not should have done this."
Yeah. So Virginia Arm Wrestling League Conquest. I'm in a group with a lot of the North Carolina boys, Doby, and I feel like I take a little bit of I'm not gonna say credit, but spreading the word of the Virginia Arm Wrestling League down to North Carolina, getting them guys up there, and Doby, Ryan Dunwoody, Adam Hoying, Justin Bailey, Levi Radkowski. Got several North Carolina boys came up and did phenomenal. Had a great tournament. Dunwoody and Hoying.
Nick Johnson.
Yeah, Nick. Yeah, I forgot about
Levi
too. Yeah, Levi too. Both of them came in and did a great job.
I think though the most underrated guy in the room that day was Dion Jordan, and nobody overlooks that guy anymore.
And you know what? I talked to such a nice guy too. Such a great guy to talk to. I talked to him, and he's natural. He's naturally just strong as hell. First of all, strong, and you can tell he's still green because he's working on his technique and stuff like that. But he's working with a great team. I think he's working with Brutal with Shannon Workman and them. And so I think that's who he's working with is Shannon Workman and all them with Team Brutal North.
His ability to hold in bad positions was very impressive. So once he learns how to get in his good position and keep it, he's going to be dangerous.
Now I'm probably misremembering this, but he pulled Nick, right? I think he pulled Nick, and Nick struggled with him a little bit, if I remember correctly. I think Nick had to go into a press against him, if I remember that correctly. But yeah, Dion was very impressive. Alec Guth came down from PA, ran the show at 176. Had a great turn, but yeah. Going back to Nick, that was I've seen Nick pull. I slow pulled with him a little bit at Conquest, but Nick's impressive. Nick is.
I've never pulled him, but I've watched him beat some very impressive people, so I know he's strong.
Nick is very impressive and great guy. Like talking to him, but Dunwoody did Dunwoody things.
He was really nice to me left-handed.
Dunwoody did Dunwoody things.
I asked him not to hurt me, so he let me take off, and then he just slowly pinned me.
Now that's been your three most recent events, but now upcoming. Now we'll talk about the tournaments because I'm not sure what tournaments, but the matches that I know of that you got, you and I both are going up to the Tri-State Championship in Ohio, in Loveland, Ohio next month. We both have matches. You've got Scott Aguilar. What weight did y'all agree to on that? That's what I meant to ask.
205.
205. Did you see the weight classes there? It's odd weight classes. I think I told you that. It was odd.
Somebody said it was something like 215 and 185 or
Yeah.
195 something.
I think I was telling you because you and I always like to talk about weird weight classes, and I didn't know that till Nathan Middlebrook. So I'm going against hit me up. He's like, hey, what weight did you want to pull at? And I said, I thought we said 198. He's like, yeah, but why? It doesn't really make much sense. And he said they just 215. So we was like, screw it. Then come in, my walk around weight. You know what I mean? I'm gonna come in
Right.
and feel probably the best I felt in a long time what I walk around at.
You're
And
always stronger than what
and
you
just
walk around at.
gonna pull that weight class 215. That's because I know Bo Horner and Adrian Morrison's also gonna be there pulling 215 as well. So that'll be a hell of a match. And I'm assuming you'll probably pull 215 and up probably.
Yeah, I'll probably pull every class above that.
If I'm gonna go to Ohio, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ham and pull all of them. Simple as
For
that.
me, tournaments are for the experience. Like
Yeah.
I get at the table to learn, and if I get beat, so what? I don't care if I lose to a guy that weighs 400 pounds. It is what it is.
Well, and you and I both coming from down here where we're at, we don't get to see most of those guys much. So
No,
if we
never.
get a hold
So if we're going to get a shot to pull them, we've got to do it now.
exactly, I want to get a hold of Scott. I want to get a hold of Bo. I want to get a hold of Adrian. Even if I don't get them in the tournament, I want to at least pull them in slow pulls. Look, Voodoo talking, Chris talking crap to you now. Sup, Chris, Bryce, Trey. But you've got Scott and August. Got a this is a little background to you and Kurt, right? Kurt,
Yeah, yeah.
y'all had
We
a
had
hell
a
of a match at Camel
war
City.
at
Y'all
Camel
need to
City.
check it out. I'm pretty sure it's on YouTube somewhere. Hell of a match between Bradley Doby and Kurt Welch at Camel City.
We had a war, and we both talked about it immediately afterwards about running it back. And then when the North Carolina rankings came out, he was ranked, I think, 5th place right hand. And I asked him immediately if he would accept the match, and he said, "Yeah, why not?" So,
Got to make it worth something.
I mean, there's two people that have always met me at the table with a whole bunch of fire, and it is Chris Wood and Kurt Welch. And
Yeah,
I love pulling those guys.
absolutely. I have not ever pulled Kurt, seen him. That's Hunter's brother, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I've never pulled Kurt. So I'm interested to see that as well. And then June, you've got so you and I both are at the same event in June 22nd down at Redmond in Asheville, North Carolina. But you've got two matches. You're gonna pull Tyson Englehart left hand, and then gonna pull David Redmond right hand. So
Yeah.
I've slow pulled with Tyson once over a year ago in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, but that was right hand. And then Redmond, I've never had the pleasure of locking up with.
David Redmond's very strong.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Look at him.
I mean, very strong.
Look at him. Natural strong too. And let me just go ahead and say, David Redmond is natural. I mean, believe it or not, he is a natty, 100%.
There's 2 lanes, and if I can't get there,
Yeah,
but I know those 2 lanes, and he knows those 2 lanes.
stay out of Redmond's hook. It is nasty. You guys stay out of Redmond's hook. Now, Tyson, I don't know much about. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I
I've
would
got
say
him.
Tyson is exactly the same way. You need to stay away from his hook. Tyson's
I've got
very
him.
strong inside.
Compare him to like a Ethan Green. Would you compare him to Ethan?
I would compare him to up and becoming David Redmond, Brandon Moody. Like he's strong inside.
And Tyson's young too. I think he's like 26. I think he's
Mm-hmm.
low to mid. He may not be 26. I'm thinking he may be younger than that, 24 or something like that.
He is in his mid-20s, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, he is going to be a very good arm wrestler. He's already a good arm wrestler.
Nice guy too. I talked to him because he and I was trying to decide on weight class, and he's Tennessee, and so rankings didn't matter. And I was like, well, what do you want me to come in? Because I thought he was heavier. He's only weighing 193. He told me he's walking around at 193. Plans to be walking around at 192. And I told him, I walk around 215 ish. Where do you want me? And he's like under 220, but I'm gonna probably get down to about. I'll see where he's really at that time, but I'll probably hit that 209 point. Is probably where I'll target.
I've got to be 209.
Yeah, it's for ranking. Yeah, right.
Well,
Yeah.
he's in Tennessee. But Redmond is pulling Nick that day 85 kilograms, and I don't think the gap needs to be any bigger than that. You know what I mean? Like,
I
it'd
agree.
be kind of ridiculous for me to come in at 230 pounds.
Hey, well, look, Bryce so you and I, we've at least got one win in Ohio in the tournament because Bryce Meadows says he's pulling 215. So
I'm going to take his left hand.
um, the so let's talk about the weight classes because you and I, this is a hot topic between you and I because we've had to play with our weights. We're trying to find the right place, and your ass can fluctuate from 185 all the way up to 225. And so North Carolina weight classes are definitely benefiting, especially your lighter guys in your team too. It's really
Oh, yeah,
helping
for sure.
your team. What are they? Tell me what they are again. I know the ones that apply to us is like that 85 kilogram,
It
and
would be 65 kilos is 143.
that's going to be like Chase and your younger guys, your smaller guys, right?
Yeah, no, Justin pulls 143, and he walks around at like 135 pounds, and
Okay,
Chase walks around like 150, 155 pounds. So 143 is a pretty easy cut.
both damn good pullers, by the way. Yeah,
Yeah,
both damn good pullers.
and then you got 165, so that would be where Damien's at, I believe, and then 187, that'd be where Redmond and Nick Johnson are at,
Okay.
and then 95 kilograms would be 209.
That's okay. So it's okay. It goes 85 is to 187, and 95 jumps up to the two.
And then there's the 231, which is 105,
Yeah. Okay. All right.
and then
I'm not just
243 is super.
but it's still essentially a 22-pound gap in between each one of them.
Yeah, it just it starts at 143 and it ends at 251 pounds, I think, 253 pounds, something like that.
Well, there's so many, and like we've talked about this, and Chase and Justin, two of them, had really was so far underweight, pulling 154 everywhere. I mean, they're giving up 15 pounds. And guys
But
cut 170 to 154. You know what I
the
mean?
thing about it is they're still going to have to pull 154 at a lot of these tournaments because they're not going to have a 143 class.
Right. I know. Well, I think Adams' tournament in Concord is going to observe the North Carolina weights, so that should help at least. That should be pretty big. Um, so I thought it was a really cool move of the weight class change for state of North Carolina. I would love a 209 class in Virginia. For me personally, I would really 209 class.
Well, if that's what the world ranking is going to be on,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
instead of having 198, those guys are trying to compete 10 pounds under what everybody else is competing at.
so I went on the record saying, Doby, that you're one of the hardest workers that I see. You send me videos. I see your videos. You're training your workout regimen, everything. You do legs, which I don't agree with, but other than that, talk a little bit about what your focus is on your workout, because including your arm wrestling training, but what you do because you do more full body, not just where I'm more so just arm wrestling focused. You do full body.
I do mainly push pull, upper body. We do legs one day a week. I just feel like it's always beneficial to work your lower body, your hips and stuff. So as we get older, we're still mobile.
Yeah.
But no, my biggest things are just push pull, and I work arm wrestling every day. Um, I do bands every morning, bands throughout the day, bands in the evening because we practice twice a week. So I have to do a lot of recovery work if I'm ever going to get any heavy training in. So usually Monday I do chest. Wednesday I do back. Friday we'll do legs. Saturday we'll do arm specific. Sunday practice. Wednesday practice. Tuesday and Thursday recovery.
So you do have recovery days. You do take recovery
I
days.
take my days off that I coach and I just do recovery work.
I typically find just take a random day during the week is really my recovery. I do nothing, really carb up a little bit more, but I don't. I'll just pick one day during the week where I do really nothing.
Right.
Just kind of rest.
That used to be Saturdays, but once soccer season starts, that's over.
Yeah. Um. Like I said, like I said, and I want people to understand that if you're not following Bradley James on Facebook, check him out. And his training methods, training regimen is second to none. He busts his ass. Um, and don't worry. And so when I'll try to get Bradley riled up a lot of times. I told Brandy at Conquest, I don't get Doby riled up. I'll be getting videos later from him where he's in there pumping one out on the table. So let's talk about your diet too. So one thing you're known for is all the milk and Fairlife you take in. But talk about your eating habits, and then also touch base a little bit about the milk and Fairlife.
All right, so I usually fast from the time I wake up till 3 to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. At that point, I have a half a gallon of
Oh,
chocolate milk
really? You don't eat till 3 or 4 in the afternoon? Really?
every day.
I didn't know that.
So I'll have a half a gallon of chocolate milk before that or right after that, and then I'll go work out. After my workout's done, I'll have another half a gallon of chocolate milk while I cook dinner and get all that stuff handled. And then I'll usually eat pasta, rice, meat, dairy products, pretty much it.
So
Very light on.
you're 1 meal a day, essentially. 1 meal a day.
Yeah, like an hour and a half long gluttony meal
Yeah,
every day. But it usually works out to about 2,500 to 2,800 calories total in the day.
yeah. How many calories you say?
I mean, 25 to 2,800.
Oh, you just kill it in that hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever, don't you? You just blow it up.
Well, you got to think the milk is 1,700 calories, so it doesn't take a lot of dinner to make up that extra 1,000 calories.
That's true. I didn't really think. I didn't think about the chocolate milk before you go work out. Yeah.
Hmm.
Did you just stay that crazy busy at work that you don't fit in? You don't. I couldn't do it. I don't have.
It's not that. It's I was fat for a long time, and I tried intermittent fasting to lose weight, and I could eat whatever I wanted in the evening. And once I started, I just couldn't stop. I'm a creature of habit, and once that habit was made, I just don't variate from it
Well,
very often.
your body's adjusted at this point too. It's used to it. It's, I mean,
Like I don't get hungry until in the evening. Like right now, I'm 50 hours into a fast, so and I haven't had a hunger pain hit yet. Probably sometime tomorrow.
I did. It was probably 2 or 3 years ago. I did. Because I look at you. You're a lot like me too. We play with our body's experience. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
I'll try fad diets and try those. I'll try weird. Right now, I'm probably like 9% carnivore.
Yeah,
Nine.
I would say so.
I'm trying 9% carnivore, and then I was doing intermittent fasting. I was not eating till I ate whatever I wanted between 1 and 6 at the time. So I was what's that 19 and 5, something like that. So like 1 and 6, I ate whatever I wanted. I mean, I dropped a lot of weight at that point. I was dropping weight for health reasons. You know what I mean? But now I think I'd more if I was doing, I'd be more focused on the gut health aspect of it because that's where
Hmm.
I still struggle with a lot of gut health issues.
Well, I feel like um, I'm going to keep my weight down for a little while longer, but I may eventually start eating 3 meals a day again. And when I do, 231 pounds won't
Yeah.
be hard to get to.
Well, you're how tall though? How tall are you?
6'1".
I thought you was taller than that, honestly. You're taller than that. We touched base on a couple guys, but let's talk a little bit about your team because I know you take a lot of pride in Team Savages, but and you've been growing by the way too. And not only do you grow with your team, but you have a lot of guests come and visit y'all at your practices, and you set up other
For
practices.
sure.
Talk about the guys on your team a little bit and the stuff they got coming up because I know Justin and Chase both have matches coming up. I've got them in May, both of them, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Both of them have matches coming up. I think Justin's pulling Phil for the number 1 spot in North Carolina. And Derlin is pulling Chase, alternating hands at 154.
and that's
Um, That'll be in
are,
May. And Chase
are
is
they
also pulling Jaden,
how old
Levi
are they both?
Rakowski's brother, in June. And
Oh, that's Levi's
isn't
brother.
Ethan pulling in May?
Ethan's got Nathan Middlebrooks, yeah. So that's Levi Radkowski's brother. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And that's at Redmond's, at Throwdown at Redmond's.
Hmm.
Nice. Real nice. Yeah, you got the lightweights covered in your on your team. I remember I was talking about that with a guy the other day. You know, our team, I'm the lightest at 198, and we're up there super heavyweight, but we have no lightweights. We went back with a high school, and I went to the high school calls. I was poaching, trying to find me some lightweight guys to start pulling with. I got a couple good opportunities, but it's
Just
kind
go
of
to the
raw.
wrestling team. Be like, hey, you
Yeah,
guys want to arm wrestle?
yeah, y'all know how to cut weight, right?
You know how to cut weight and fight people. That's what I need.
But it's great what you're doing with Team Savage. Y'all are sponsoring. I want to call that out. You're sponsoring Damian Schlosser for in the 176 round robin. So thank you for
I
that.
mean, why not?
He's got to
The
do.
dude's a tank.
He's in tier A right now. The 3 tiers I got set up, and top three in tier A, top three in tier B, and top two in tier C move on to the overall tournament. And On my paper, I would have Damian picked in the top 3.
Well, here's my thing. Like, we've all arm wrestled Damien, and 95% of us get beat by him every time we grab his hand, right?
I've
And
never,
we've never seen him lift this hard and train this hard for anything.
yeah, no,
Where can he be by then?
and Damian likes to show too. He keeps it a little more PC most of the time, but Damian likes to show. He likes to stir it up, and likes to get people riled up. So he's been pretty active in our group chat and promoting the event. And Damian's another person I just want I want to talk about him a little bit because you're sponsoring everything. Top notch guy, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Can't beat him. You go to him, talk to him about anything. He's gonna be completely honest with you. He's not gonna blow smoke up your ass. He's gonna be completely honest. He's gonna say, "Alan, your hand sucks." Let me help.
Yeah. Well, it's like he told me, he was like, your side pressure is good, your pronation sucks. So work on that. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah, he told me, he's like, "Hey, you need to do nothing but go to the straps."
It's honest. I mean, sometimes that's what you need to be told, though. If you don't have any power anywhere else and your strongest point's in a strap and a king's move, then that's where you need to be, whether people like it or not.
Agreed. Now, pull your lane. Make them
Yeah.
your lane.
I mean, like, would Jerry Catterett be where he's at if he didn't have a dead wrist press?
No.
People don't like it, but that's his way of arm wrestling. You like it or not, that's where he's good at.
So let them know if you're in North Carolina, when is y'all's practice dates and location if somebody's want to reach out to you?
Sundays at 2 p.m. And Wednesdays at 6 o'clock in Denton.
North Carolina. Awesome. We're going to finish up 2 more topics here and everything. One of a really big topic to me, one that's near and dear to me, is the arm wrestling community and what it means to. It means something different to everyone. When I started this a couple years ago, I started finding guys exactly like me, been through similar crap in life. Now I'm finding guys completely unlike me that I'm learning from, guys I want to aspire to be like.
Yeah, for sure.
Talk to us a little bit about what it means to you.
I feel like as soon as I started arm wrestling, I had never been in a competitive sport to where you get beat or you beat somebody and you go over to the table and they start working with you on how to get better or how to change this and that. And it's those people that you start, hey, you want to go to a practice and you start building relationships and friendships with, and then you show up to an event and it's like everybody in the room. Well, now you're just part of a community of people that love and that are passionate about the exact same thing that you do. We don't all do it the same way. And I might fly off the handle every once in a while and slap a table or yell a curse word and get yelled at by a referee. But you still have to respect one another in the aspect that we do this every day. And if you want it, you're going to do it every day. And my theory is I won't be outworked. So I like the people in the community that work as hard as I do, and I feel like there's a lot of them.
Oh yeah, you hit several good points, and one of them is like you said, never been a sport where the person ends up it immediately starts to make you better. I don't know how many
Jerry
times.
Townsend was mine.
Yeah,
he beat me and he was like, "Come here, let me show you what you did wrong." And I was like, "Okay."
Jerry's top notch. I hate him, but he's great guy. There's several like that. Chris Wood is a good one. Chris Wood comes. He's got a unique personality where he likes to fire and likes to keep it going. And um, Chris and I will be on the table and him working with me. We're working together, doing different things, trying just to make each other better. Chris is constantly wanting to make me better, wanting to make me better. He pushes me really hard. I love him to death for it.
I mean, he found out my shoulder was hurt this week and started sending me videos on what I needed to do to help rehabilitate it. You know what I mean? And we have a match coming up.
Right.
Like, this is how you need to recover so you can be in your best form. I mean, what more could you ask for?
There's zero gain to those folks like that. You know what
I
mean?
It's like he just wants me at my best so we have the best fight we can have. I mean, what better people could you ask for?
Justin Bailey's another. Justin's want me to get down there with him and Dunwoody and Adam to pull. So I'm actually going the first week in April. I'm actually going down there to pull with him. And Dunwoody's like, "I'm gonna fix you."
We'll fix you.
Appreciate that. Didn't realize I was that broken. He was like, "Yeah,
I'm broken."
Yeah, I'm gonna fix you. I was like, "Okay."
I'm glad Adam didn't break me.
I knew Dunwoody was dominant, and then when Adam beat Steve Walker, what just happens? As I was not expecting. Steve, Steve's a great guy, first of all, so I don't want to sound he's arrogant or cocky about this, but I would think Steve came thinking Josh Harding was probably going to be his toughest match. I'm thinking Steve probably came not knowing that kind of talent was going to be there when he got there.
He told Dunwoody to hold on. I'll get to you in a minute. And I think that might be where he messed up.
And he got humbled a little bit with Adam. And then I can't remember who he pulled after Adam, but they paid for it. Steve, they paid for it. And then he got a hold of Ryan, and Ryan, I'm not gonna say took him easily, but Ryan,
I mean, Ryan Dunwoody is no joke.
yeah, he did
Like,
not struggle.
everybody in that room understands that now.
Yeah, I was wanting to see certain matches before that day. Like it wouldn't. I'm not there's no disrespect to anyone, but it wouldn't have been a match. The matches I had in my head, they wouldn't have had anything for Ryan. So he took away all subjectivity from me. So
Yeah, I
uh,
mean, if he's not the top ranked guy in North Carolina, whatever weight class he's in, he should be.
I think so. In the Hook rankings, had him at 242 plus, and he was the last one was I think he was 19th, and with Shane Owens in South Carolina, he was 18th. I think is what those rankings were. Off the top of my head, without looking up, I don't know what North Carolina's rankings are. But you're right, I don't know who in North Carolina would, and I'm not sure where he's listed at weight class. If it's 253, I would say he's 253. I would bet 253. He's not 231.
No, I wouldn't think so.
I don't think he's. I mean, I'm sure he can make it, but Ryan don't cut. Ryan's gonna pull where he wants, where he's walking around at.
I mean, he's strong
Yeah,
as fuck where he's at.
yeah. Well, last thing, Doug, I want to hit on. What advice do you have? Ben, you're a year in now. What advice would you have anybody, male, female, young, old, that's wanting to get started in the sport right now? What advice would you give them?
Find somewhere that has a knowledgeable coach and listen. Like, number one, don't get hurt doing something stupid. Find somewhere that has somebody that is knowledgeable and listen and pay attention. That's the best thing they can do. You
And,
can watch all the Devin Larratt videos you want, learn how to lift and do whatever you want to learn how to rise and cup and pronate. But you need to be with somebody that knows what they're doing on the table to tell you not to get hurt and how to hit a lane.
yeah, and you're right. And even so, myself, Willie Coleman, we started our team together less than 2 years ago, and we're pretty much a team of five, and we've all been pulling less than 2 years. Now, it's good that we work together and we have a team, sure. We make each other stronger by pulling, but you can only teach each other so much. You know
Right.
what I mean? And that's why we travel a lot, try to find people to work with, because it's no disrespect to anyone, me or anyone else. We can only teach each other so much when we're still green ourselves.
Well, I think that's one good thing about North Carolina is so many teams do travel around to pull with each other that they're slowly going to build each other into a really big superpower of a state, and it's just got to be done, right? I mean, South Carolina's got chaos, and they're about as good as it gets. But North Carolina, if you've got teams like that nobody really knows a whole lot, but you've got little spots where guys are great, and you travel there all the time to pull with them as teams, you can't get worse, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you're only going to get better if you retain any amount of knowledge.
I mean, off the top of my head, I mean, there's so many teams that's grown in North Carolina now. We cover Southern Virginia Silverbacks. We cover Southern Virginia and Upper North Carolina. You're down in Denton with Team Savage. You got Carolina Rollers. You got Port City Pullers. You got Mayhem.
Mm-hmm.
You got Mountaineer with Connor Cook and them up in Boone.
Your average pullers,
Yeah,
Damien's team,
yeah.
um,
Garage Crew.
Triad Top Rollers,
Yeah, and what's Rick Layton's team?
Pullers for Christ.
Pullers for Christ. Yep.
And
Yep.
then I don't know if Broom and Jerry's team is North Carolina or South Carolina or where it is.
Rock Hill. Yeah, they're Rock Hill, South Carolina. Yeah, right down the line.
But there are several teams, and I think it's good to go around and meet those guys and pull with them and learn different stuff. I mean, you're going to be competing with each other on a state level, but if we're all trying to work to get national ranking or world ranking, like that, the state level doesn't really matter that much at the end of the day. Like, you're trying to get better to a point where you need to pull everybody in every scenario to figure out how to get to number one, not just in North Carolina, in your nation or in the world. Like there isn't an end to this. You
Yeah.
should always be looking to go further.
Well, this sport too, like you said, there's no end to it. Your age can just keep, you're talking more so about your goals, but there's no end in the age too with the division.
Right. I mean, if you can keep getting better till you're 55 years old, we've still got 20 years left, you know?
Oh yeah, God, man, yeah, we still got 20 till we get there, I guess.
That's all we get, 20 years.
Well, Dobie, man, thank you very much for joining us. I think this went very well for our first real episode of Silverback Talks. One shout out to one of our sponsors. I just want to recognize Jamie Vaughn and J Visual Graphics. Look, if you need any flyers, any kind of work done, match cards, look up Jamie Vaughn, no relation, on Facebook and let him
Y'all are
do.
cousins or
He's the
something.
man. He does Dobie's work too. I mean, he's the man. So
He is the man.
once again, thank you, Dobie. Appreciate it. And I'll talk to you later on this week, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.